in a debate that's been described as ugly, disappointing, chaotic, raucous, an ordeal, the night American democracy hit rock bottom, and the worst debate of all time. Statehouse correspondent Jo Ingles has reaction from the host state.
Oh, boy. Wow.
President Trump won Ohio by 8 points in 2016. In 2018, when many states experienced a blue wave, the 5 executive offices went to Republicans. But Democrats got 2 Ohio Supreme Court seats and gained a total of 5 seats in the Ohio House. And polls are now showing the presidential race neck and neck in Ohio. No Republican has won the presidency without winning Ohio, and since 1960, no Democrat has become president without winning the Buckeye State. Ohio's senior U.S. Senator, Democrat Sherrod Brown, notes Joe Biden's campaign is adding resources here.
Today, they're doing a major effort in Ohio. They're scaling up television buy. They are moving on bringing more paid staff to Ohio, and we'll have a zillion volunteers. They're already out there. We win Ohio, it's an electoral college landslide, and that will make it that much harder for Trump to try to contest the election and overturn the election.
Ohio's Republican congressional delegation and most of the state's Republican executive office holders and legislative leaders are honorary co-chairs of President Trump's re-election campaign, including Governor Mike DeWine.
Look, I never bought into this argument that Ohio had become a Republican state. I mean, Ohio is a swing state. The president won last time by 9 points, I think. That was a big, big surprise. I think he's going to win this time in Ohio. I think it will be close, but I think he will win.
But this first debate may not have helped him in Ohio or elsewhere.
I have trouble seeing anyone who could come away from that debate saying that President Trump won.
Paul Beck thinks the debate might cause some people who are on the fence right now to cast their votes for Biden. Beck says it's the worst debate he's ever seen, and he thinks President Trump hurt himself with a key group he needs to get, women.
If you just did it without the sound, the facial expressions on the part of the president were such a contrast to the facial expressions on the part of Joe Biden most of the time. Where Biden really is looking presidential, Trump is looking like the angry guy at the bar who's had too many drinks.
Baldwin Wallace political science professor Tom Sutton also thinks Trump lost the debate. And Sutton says Trump's comments on white supremacist groups raised eyebrows in a state where some of those groups have shown up at protests and demonstrations, including one at the Statehouse this summer.
It was another example, like we saw after the Charlottesville situation 4 years ago, of President Trump refusing to disavow a group that he sees as supporting him. Now, to say that then means he's racist is debatable, but it was a very clear indication. And the fact that he said, stand back and stand by, that didn't sound like an off-the-cuff remark. And I think that's part of where the Proud Boys apparently have adopted Holy, and they are really interested in making this part of their mantra. And it reinforces the fears, the concerns, of many Americans, including African Americans, people who are Jewish, et cetera, that he is encouraging and at least abetting these extremist far-right groups.
After the debate, DeWine took to Twitter, praising Trump for his performance in the debate from his personal account. So did Republican Ohio Speaker Bob Cupp. Beck says the loyalty that Republican leaders are showing to Trump could ultimately hurt them.
The big danger, it seems to me, that the Republicans have facing them is that the reactions to Trump will get translated into reactions to the party itself. And this is going to have create a problem for them, certainly when you turn to the elections down ballot.
Beck says the party has already had an image problem stemming from the federal fraud and racketeering indictments of former House Speaker Larry Householder, the former chair of the Ohio Republican Party, and 3 other GOP operatives. And he says the fact that Ohio's Republican-dominated legislature has not yet repealed the controversial nuclear bailout law that's key to those indictments also raises red flags for voters who are on the fence. There's a saying that as Ohio goes, so goes the nation. Though polls show very few likely voters are undecided or could change their minds, experts say they could be targeted to determine that direction. Jo Ingles, Statehouse News Bureau.